Hello, folks. It's CJ Miller. I'm in my kitchen in my downtown apartment in Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm attached to the wall. I don't want to lose power here. I'm charging, but this is so cool. Uh, First of all, come check us out. What I have here is a cookie dough. Now, this is a cookie dough that I made with 12 ounces of Nestle Toll House cookie. I followed a recipe that I picked up from the back of a box of Bisquick, by the way, which is, to me, it's a little bit easier. Instead of 2 eggs, it's made with 1 egg. Okay? And in lieu of the other egg, and to provide a little extra flavor and stickiness, I used, you see how sticky this is, right? Even around the foil. So, it's just coming out of a chill. I had it chilling in the fridge. But I'll give you the quick recipe real quick. 2 and maybe a third cup of self-rising flour. It's approximated. If you don't use self-rising flour, you can use all-purpose flour. You'll just have to add the appropriate amount of baking powder and all that kind of good stuff. There are formulas to ratios that work with that, so you can have to look them up. I think it's about well, whatever. I'm not going to worry about it anyway. But ratio per cup of all-purpose flour. I can't think of it right now, but I do look at stuff, and I have done that. But anyway, this is self-rising flour, so it's kind of cool. Basically, fold it in a stick of butter. That's a half a cup of butter, unsalted, and that's fine because the probably just until it got a good gooey consistency, I used in lieu of one of the eggs, probably a really good size portion of this Ghirardelli sea salt that actually doesn't have egg in it, but it's made with so much milk and sugar and stickiness. It's going to work as a binding also. And it's really smooth. And so we have the one grade A large egg that I had that's going to help with the binding. And this has got corn syrup, cane sugar, more cane sugar, heavy cream, sweetened condensed milk, skim milk, I don't know why. But the condensed milk is more sugar in there. And then get your sea salts and everything like that. So salt, table salt, and sea salt and everything, that kind of stuff is salt to the body. Salt is salt. Now, there are some salt substitutes there that are formulated differently, kind of in the same way that, some of the sweeteners in the store are modified so that they're not really sugar anymore. And that, but the body, naturally, white sugar, brown sugar, honey, cane sugar, however it comes, sugar is sugar to the body. A teaspoon of sugar is going to be a teaspoon of sugar regardless of its form to the body. The body doesn't know that. There are some flavorful differences, but whatever. So this is definitely not something that I'm going to be talking about a keto diet with tonight. But it's, but I'm going to go ahead and take it. And by the way, with clean hands and everything, that's I love to do my baking with I will more than likely touch my dough, with my hands. So, but always want to come over. I've been handling my phone, so I'm gonna pause my phone, go over, give my hands a good rinse, and then we'll see what kind of a cookie dough I'm gonna lay out. Kind of a cookie. There we go. Just that size. We want a small ball here. And then we're just going to cook these. When I lay them out, I've got the oven preheated to 370, and this is lightly oiled, and then I've got a little flour, and for extra measure, I put down some cornstarch to kind of give it a little separation so it'll come up a little easier. Give these a little space from each other. They're going to be easier to handle if they're a little farther apart. They're going to spread for a little bit. You don't have to use all this dough all at once. It will keep very well. But you basically put it in the oven at 370 is what I got the oven. And then what I'm going to do is just watch it and let it won't take that long. Not more than 10 to 12 minutes, whatever. You just watch your oven and take them out right when they look like they're not quite done yet, but that's when they're the best, and then they're going to continue to cook as they cool, as they're out of the heat and they continue to cool. So let me lay some of these out and I'll come back to you. We really want to give these fair spacing because they do need to be, they need to have their own space. They're like me, I need my space. What I didn't mention before is I pulled out about powdered ginger, about a tablespoon that I kind of mashed in with this also, just for that a little something extra. This is a good cookie dough is very forgiving, and it's very liberal to work with, and basically we'll just see, some areas. This would be great. You could put in some instant oatmeal if you wanted, and make an oatmeal cookie out of it. It's great. So trust me, I'll show you when it's done. All right, here I've got these laid out in rows of 3 until I've gotten 12, and I know that this looks like maybe I could put some more on here. I really need these cookies to have their own space. So I'm going to put these in the oven. I'm going to bring them out, and the reason why I'm doing this is I have company coming over tonight, and this is going to be a fun little dessert. Who doesn't love good cookie? Like, I just want something kind of easy, and I've got probably half of this cookie dough left that I can freeze and use later, or I could gift it to friends and say, oh, by the way, here's the cookie dough that I made up. Try this at home. What the heck was that? Something fell. It wasn't inside, it was outside. I don't know. Okay. Let me get this in the oven. Okay, so yeah, it was just something that shifted in my sink. But yeah, so I'm going to do some cleanup. I've got 12 minutes to wait. I'm going to bundle this up. I don't think I'm going to make more cookies, but I think I'm maybe going to put this in a very safe container and save it until I'm ready for more. But God, is it delicious. Shouldn't really eat it because it's got a raw egg in it. Some cookie dough batter, ice cream and stuff, that's fine. But when it's got a raw egg in it, you don't want to really do that, So it can make you sick. I know people drink raw eggs and stuff, so but working with this outside like this, got to get it into the freezer as soon as possible to reduce bacteria. Hey, as those cookies are doing their thing, let's look at my painting here. This is so near done. Yeah, I really do. I really do think this is right where it needs to be. The only thing I want to do is I want to wait before I part with it until I get some transparent semi-gloss, which is a really fabulous acrylic paint for canvases like this, and you really want to take that. Sometimes they'll call it a translucent semi-gloss, depending upon, but you want as clear as possible. And basically, you brush over it, and it gives you it gives it a sheen, gives it a little shine. It's something that you can, if you want to, you can use just on a portion. Like if I wanted to make something pop a little bit, then I could give that semi-gloss just a touch of something here or there that would make it pop out, a dimension. So if I wanted to put some just on the water towards up the front and the foreground here, and maybe a little bit over this branch, and a couple of things back here just to make it pop a little bit, maybe a cloud here or there, and have like 2 different textures, this drying near matte finish that it dries to, and then the occasional semi-gloss, I could do that. if I want to get super fancy. But I think what I'm going to do is I think um, for the purpose of making it a little easier to care for, I think I want to just put a protective, uh, semi-gloss of, translucent or transparent. Just a base. It's gonna come out of that clear if you brush it on real clear, depending on which one that I come across, and you can dilute your titanium white. That's going to give it kind of a milky finish. I don't want that. You'd have to dilute it down to water and runs the risk of making some of the paint rehydrate and run a little bit. And I don't want that. So I'm going to wait until I get over to the supply store and I'm going to get that translucent paint. But aside from that, it's done. And the only thing I really need to do is think of a name for it. You know, I'm going to have to think. I cannot think of a name for it, but I will come up with it. And you see how I did just a hint of the glow from that setting sun underneath the clouds, just a touch of a purple underneath these blue-gray skies. Ooh, maybe that'd be a good name for it. No, because it's more than just a blue-gray sky. I mean, there's, I don't know, there's so much going on here. I don't know. I don't know. Let me think on it. Cookies ought to be done in just a few minutes. Let me show you this. And I need to self-cleaning oven, but I never used a self-cleaning because I don't want to. But this is almost right where we want it to be. Great, right? And I'm still that kind of person that uses an easy off oven cleaner instead of the. I tried to do that once. It was after my first Thanksgiving, and I tried to do a self-cleaning. And oh my God, the apartment got so smoky, set off just about every smoke detector in the apartment, even with everything open. And the downstairs neighbor brought up a big, huge industrial fan, and we blew it out. It was crazy. I'm not supposed to do this. Do as I say, not what I do. But I can't. I don't want to lose this crumb. I want to eat it. Okay. If I get salmonella, that's how. Thankfully, it's a small group that's coming tonight. There's a couple of them. I don't know why. Maybe I got them a little bit bigger. I suppose they were supposed to be spaced apart. They would have been okay. Those would be the two that I sample later. maybe one. I don't know. I'll pick out the 3 ugliest ones, and those would be the ones that I can snack on throughout the day. So the rest of the meal, I'm not really going to do a food video on it. I think I'm just going to take like some pasta and, I'll make some pasta and put it in a marinara sauce that's turned into a bolognese by putting some Italian sausage, browning that and putting it into the bolognese sauce and letting it kind of sit and slow and marinate. And then when people come over, I'll serve that as a first course with a chicken patty over the top of it with a white cheese and then some Parmesan. So kind of like a makeshift, kind of sort of a twist on a chicken Parmesan, but it'll have like the ground sausage and the bolognese sauce. So very flavorful. And we'll have that while I'm doing the and the potato course will be ready for the second portion, which will get the T-bone steaks that I'm having for people. And I've had these steaks for a while. It's not like I went out and bought them special. I've just, so we're going to do that. But I'm not going to do a video on that because I've done a lot of steak videos before and I've done a lot of chicken videos or whatever. Maybe when it's all said and done, I'll do a picture of what it looks like. Kind of, well, not really, because I'm going to do the steaks as the guests get closer to getting here. They're kind of notorious about being a little early or a little late or whatever. And doing a steak to temperature is kind of well, it's kind of time sensitive. Like these cookies. I took these cookies out, and some of them are just cute as a button, aren't they? Um, and I want to just drizzle them with some toppings that just enrich it and see how it goes. But they're not going to peel away from this very well at all they are until they're cooled. Uh, so yeah, let's see. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna kind of leave that one though. That's kind of a good one. Now this does have kind of a cornstarchy texture on the bottom of it. I'll dust it off or whatever, but let me show you. Let me just see. Pick this up here. Yeah, not too bad. Oh, I should have let it cool. Oh well. Okay, we gotta taste this one now, don't we? This one and then those two ugly ones up there. Damn it, this is good. You remember what I'm saying? And I used to think when I was a child, because I'm a I'm an addict at heart. I was born that way. When it comes to something like this, all I want is more and more and more, and the most I can get. Right? Like, why would you leave a drop in your glass? Why would you leave a bite on the pan? Okay, that's all I have until those two later. Jesus Christ, that is officially a good damn cookie. And then when this completely cools, then I can drizzle it with if I want to do a little garnish, and I may do that, a little bit of a caramel sauce, a little bit of chocolate sauce, just for the heck of it. Jesus Christ, that is like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't take the name of the Lord in vain, but that's not really in vain. That's called that's like thank you for the cookie. This is something I could not do all the time. That is sweet but delicious. Let me pause this because I'm just talking. You know what? I'm not gonna pause it. I'm just gonna say, look, this is a cookie. It's perfectly done. It's delicious. You saw how that treatment of the cornstarch. First, I put down a little oil and then the flour, but I had a little concern that maybe it would still stick a little bit. So what I did was to, put the cornstarch down, copious amounts of cornstarch. No one is going to care. And this, sometimes, with the baking, if you're trying to measure and you start with an all-purpose flour and then you add in what you add in, you might, if you add a touch too much bicarbonate of soda, either via trying to add baking soda, if that's what your recipe calls for, a pinch of that to go along with your baking powder or whatever, you can come across with something that tastes a little aluminum-y, and this one really doesn't have that because I used a safer, self-rising flour for something like this. So you can do that. You can follow the recipes and they'll give you what to use with an all-purpose flour, but you can use a self-rising flour and it will be okay. And if you wanted to add a little extra rise, you could do that, add a little extra leavening, the touch more of the baking powder to the self-rising. But if all your baking powders and self-rising flours and everything, if they're all fresh, you shouldn't have any trouble getting a little rise out of this. This is basically, I could basically lift these off and put them on a baking tray or cooling tray right now if I wanted to. But I want to make sure, I'm going to let them cool right here. I don't want to take the risk of screwing them up. I want them to firm and get, entirely well. Because if I take a spatula and try to go underneath them, and they're still becoming the cookie they're going to be when they're at room temperature. If they're still a little gooey inside, they may lose their shape. We don't want that. I don't. I work too hard on this. Um, I'm tempted to go for a second round, but oh my God, this was such a good round of cookies that I'm just gonna leave good enough alone. Okay, now I will say bon appetit, love and light, peace, bye.